Hi, my name is Gabby, and today I'm teaching you how to be magnetic. So if you want to learn, keep watching. So this is my third series, or my third episode on my series, The School of Love, where I teach you how to love yourself and how to become a better person, because I feel like we're not taught that at school or even at home sometimes. And I just think that that is one of the most important things you can learn, is how to make yourself be a better person, how to love yourself in every way, inside, outside, physically, emotionally, in every way, to love yourself, right? And just to be a better person. And I feel like the way you present yourself, or basically your aura, is very important, because it's basically the energy you give off. And if you haven't heard before, um, the saying that says, like, first impressions is everything, it kind of is. So yeah, I'm going to teach you how to have a magnetic aura and just how to attract things easily and become like a magnet, basically, to the things that you want, not the things that you don't want. So yeah, and I feel like one of the things that is very important is how you are, like, on a day-to-day basis. What I mean by that is, are you rushing, or are you taking things slow, being present and intentional, or are you letting anxiety run your life, right? And what I mean by that is, like, I don't know if you guys ever wake up and you guys are like, just like, even if you're not late, you're like rushing, you're brushing your teeth fast, you're like trying to get everything done, right? And I don't even know why we do this. Maybe it comes from childhood, when like our parents tell us to hurry up all the time, like they're always rushing us. And it's not their fault, because that's what they learned as well. It's like me, I sometimes do that with my son. And it's sometimes it's really hard to catch myself when I'm doing it, but I try to catch myself as often as I can, because what that does is basically it builds anxiety in your body, and you're basically never present. You're basically always doing things wrong. That's when things always come out wrong. You have to do them twice, or you're like dropping stuff. It's because we're rushing everything, right? So if you think about it, when you see like a millionaire or a celebrity that's very like successful, they're never rushing, like, you never. And if they do, I don't know, I haven't really seen many people who are like rushing when they're really successful. But yeah, usually they don't rush. They're always walking at their own pace. They're doing things intentionally. Their walk is beautiful, it's powerful. Um and it's because they're doing things intentionally. They're present. They're doing things not like turtle slow, but definitely slow, like kind of like just normal paced. Like if they're slow, normal, and fast, they're in the middle, where they're just like, present. Um, and yeah, and sometimes it's really hard to do that. But do not fear, that's why I am here. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to teach you how to slow down. Um, how I have learned to slow down as a very anxious person, because I feel like I am a very anxious person if I allow myself to be. Um, if I don't, like, ground myself or bring myself back to the present, I will run off anxiety. Like I have told other people before, I like, whenever I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking for like more other people other than like my like little family, I'm always rushing or anxious. So I'm literally a danger in the kitchen, right? Whenever I'm feeling this way, because I am dropping everything, burning everything, just things do not come out right. And it comes from like anxiety, right? Because I want everything to be right, and I'm rushing, and I want everything to be perfect, and in the end it all comes out wrong. um so yeah, you have to learn how to be present, how to take a deep breath, and remember that there is no reason to rush. And this is also very important, that you are not late all the time, that you wake up on time, that you give yourself time to be like present, you know, to think, to slow down basically. Because if you wake up late, then you're gonna be rushing, because you have to be there at a certain time, or you have to be finished at a certain time. So yeah, that's one important thing, is to make sure that you give yourself the right amount of time before you begin something, whether it's like a project, cooking, your job, whatever it is. Make sure you're on time. Okay, let's start there. And yeah, and after you're on time, we're gonna slow things down, right? So the way that I do to slow down is I take a deep breath, and I remind myself that this is my life. No one, no one is expecting, like, yeah, okay, if you have a job and your boss is expecting something from you, then that's a different thing. But even then, you have to also think, like, this is my job, this is my time, and I get to do things my way, right? Whether it is that you're working for someone else or not, you're still doing things your own way. So you have to bring yourself to the present moment. Try to feel your whole body, like try to relax your shoulders, try to like relax your jaw. Be present with yourself, right? As much as you can. It sometimes takes a lot of practice, and it's okay. You just have to learn how to be present. And there's a lot of YouTube and TikTok videos on how to bring yourself to the present moment. So I recommend you, if you don't know how to do it, to look that up. It's not something that happens instantly, but it is something you can learn. Everything in this world is learned. So if you can learn how to play basketball, if you can learn how to play a video game, if you could learn a song, then you can learn how to be present. Okay, so just make sure that you are focusing on the right things in life as well. So yeah, like I said, when I see like successful people, usually they're walking slow, at their own pace. Because imagine them running around like a chicken cut their head off, with their head cut off. Then they would look pretty crazy, right? And they probably wouldn't be who they are. So we have to not only be present, but we have to learn how to like walk, how to talk, and how to do everything in a slower manner, right? Um, so yeah, you have to basically, and this is something you choose by the minute, right? Every single minute of your life is like, you have to choose to be the highest version of yourself. Um, so it's like every single minute you have to remind yourself of what you are and who you are, or who you want to be, right? But I say who you are because in manifesting, you can't, how do I say it? You can't want to be somebody, you have to be somebody, right? So even though you're not there yet, you have to act like the person that you want to be already, right? So if the person you want to be is, how do I say it? Hold on. So just like imagine the person you want to be, and think, how would they walk? And if you don't know how they would walk yet, I would say look up someone that you admire or that you are inspired by, and kind of study the way they move, the way they walk, the way they talk, the way they present themselves, and kind of go off based off that. Obviously, you're not going to copy them down like to the T, but you are going to like do things similar to them, adding your own touch, right? And with time, you're going to learn yourself a little bit more, because you're going to be like, okay, I don't like this part, I want to do this differently, right? And that's when you start building your own personality, your own self, okay? So like for me, I really love Marilyn Monroe. I love like Cleopatra, Betty Boop. So those are the people that I study. Like the way they walk, the way they talk, the way they like look, you know, like all those things. And then I kind of add a similar thing to my own thing, right? Because back then I still need, I'm like still working on my posture, but I have a really pretty bad posture. Like, you know, like I'm always like this. So when I started to study like Marilyn Monroe, let's say, she was more like, she wasn't like rigidly like this, but she like, you know, she stood up straighter than how I used to. Her walk is like very feminine, very, you know, like she moves her hips and all those things. And so I started to do my own thing similarly, but not exactly, right? Because we want to be our own person. Because if not, we're all just going to be copies of the same thing, which is somehow kind of already happening. We all try to be the same, we all try to look the same, and that's not how it works. It makes us, it like takes us farther from where we want to be, and it just makes us inauthentic. So that is not what we want to do. We don't want to copy, we want to get inspired, right? Learn. And the reason why I tell you to look these people up is because the things that we like, the people that we admire, is very tied to the person who we want to be, right? Like also someone else I admire is Kim Kardashian. Um, and I feel like a lot of us girls do admire her, but some of us, instead of like taking things as inspiration, we copy, you know, like we'll get the same lips, we'll get the same nose, and that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to accentuate our own beauty, um, our own aura. But sometimes, like, if we don't know who we are, then we do need inspiration. We do need to learn from the people that we love. And that is one way to do it. Another way to do it is look up your body type, your specific body type, or someone who's similar to you that is already like in a successful place in life, and study them as well, right? It's like whenever, it's like, let's say an artist is learning a instrument. Obviously, they're going to like learn from someone who already knows that instrument, right? So that's what we are trying to do. We're trying to learn things that we want for ourselves that someone already knows how to do, right? So yes, study the people that you like and admire so you can figure out how to be that person, right? Not that exact person, but the person you want to be. But yeah, back to this, the like not rushing thing, the slowing down. Um, yeah, the reason why we want to slow down is because we will look frantic if we don't. We will look crazy. We will look like crazy people, basically, right? Running around like a chicken with its head cut off, like I said before. And that's not what we're trying to do. So we need to slow down. And as we slow down, we start to notice that we get clearer thoughts. Um, and we don't attract as much craziness as we do when we are in a crazy mood. Because one thing I have realized is that, like, anxiety or whatever it is, that fight or flight mode is very contagious, and so is calmness. So when you're calm, you attract people who are calm because they feel that calmness, right? But if you're frantic and you're like, oh no, like this, that, though, like, you know, then you're going to kind of instill that to other people, and they're just going to show it back to you, right? So like, let's say we're really angry or we're just scared, then we're going to make or find people very similar to that. And not only because they are like that, but because we're basically mirroring it to them, or like passing it to them, you know, vibrationally. So being calm not only makes you feel better, but it makes the people around you feel better. Also confidence, like if you're confident, then people around you will also feel more confident, right? Every emotion, every feeling is very contagious. So just make sure you are very present and know which emotions you are giving off, because those are the emotions you're going to be receiving most of the time. So yeah, let's just be very intentional with the way that we are and how we feel. I know sometimes we can control our feelings. um it's very hard to control our emotions, but it is not impossible. um and being calm and being present and slowing down really really helps with that, because you have clear, how do I say it, like clear thoughts about those emotions. It's like how they say you can't control what is thrown at you, but you can control how you react. So yes, that's very important. Another thing that I'm going to talk about in this video to become very magnetic is eye contact, right? I feel like one of the most seductive, powerful things that you can have is your eye contact. How you look at people, you know, like your gaze. It's very, very important. So you have to really work on it. It's very easy because every morning you wake up and you look in the mirror, right? Usually for most people. Um, so even if it takes like 5 seconds of your life, 10 seconds of your life, try to like play with your gaze, right? Try to like figure out how to make your gaze better, more seductive, more powerful, more enticing, right? Um, One little trick that I learned a while back, I don't know where, if I knew where I would tell you, but I think it was a TikTok. And they said that whenever you're like trying to, you know, have that powerful, seductive gaze, to think about something or someone that you love, the person that you love the most, or the a thing that you love the most, um, and think about them as you're looking at whatever it is that you're trying to entice, right? um and that, I feel like that's a very good way to start, and then you just slowly start to build off of that and learn like what suits you and what doesn't. Like for some people, having doe eyes helps them a lot. It all depends on your face, on your personality, on who you are trying to be, right? For some people, it's that siren gaze. Just learn how to use your eyes, your eye contact. Um, but I feel like the best way to do it is by looking in the mirror every day and like playing with it. Also, makeup helps a lot. Like the way you do your makeup, make it for you to, if you have small eyes, make your eyes look bigger. If your eyes are too closed, make them out. The colors that you choose, you know, like the eyeliner form, it all matters in the end. Everything you do has to be very intentional for the person that you are trying to be. So study things like separately is what I would say, and deeply. Um, it's like sometimes we want to find one video that tells us everything, but sometimes that doesn't really help, because there's not everyone knows what exactly we need. So study how to do the eyeliner in one video, study how to do mascara in the other video, um, but learn off like the things that you like, and not only the things that you like, but the things that suit you the best, right? So learning yourself is very important here. You have to really learn your face shape, your eye shape, your nose shape, your mouth shape. And this is for man or woman, like your hair texture, your hair type. You have to learn all these little things in order to do the best things for them, right? Um, like for me, I have oily skin, so obviously dry skin products does not help at all for me. It makes me feel gross. It makes me, like it's just not good. So I have to get oily skincare products, right? And that is with everything, like if you have, like whatever it is that you have to study yourself really, really, really deeply. Like if even if it's in working out, you have to study your body shape to learn what workouts suit you best, right? Like a lot of people hold a lot of fat, so they have to kind of like base their workouts on that. Some people hold a lot of water, so they have to, like, everything, you have to learn your body. And it's not that hard, like if you actually try, but you have to start somehow. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah. Anyway, I was talking about eye contact. Whenever you look at someone, you have to give off the feeling that you want them to feel, right? So like if you're trying to, let's say you're trying to get someone to like you, right? You have to give off those feelings with your eyes. You can't be scared, you can't be insecure, because those are the exact feelings you're going to give off to them. Um, so how do I say it? So yeah, it's kind of like you have to give off that feeling by feeling it yourself in your own body first, right? And I don't think it's really hard to do it, because I feel like a lot of us are very, how do I say it, delusional already. And if you're not delusional, I recommend you to become a little bit more delusional, because that is how a lot of things become to be in this world, by being delusional. Because if we're all logic and we all think like in logic terms, then my legs literally fell asleep and they hurt so bad. Okay. If we were not delusional, then a lot of things that we thought impossible would have stayed impossible. Like airplanes, and all these crazy things that we thought were impossible, right? Like electricity, um, what else? Cars, phones. If we were not delusional, or like, but yeah, basically delusional, then all those things would not exist today. So being a little bit delusional is not bad. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this saying, the person who wins is not the person who is hardworking. It is not the person who studies the most. It is not the person who works the hardest, right? It's the person who believes they can do it, right? So yeah, being a little bit delusional would not hurt. If it works, then it works. If it doesn't, then you tried, right? That kind of vibe is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so eye contact, slowing down the way you walk, the way you talk, I feel like really makes you more magnetic. The last thing I am going to say, which I feel like is a little trick that I've never really see being talked about. And maybe for a lot of people it will sound kind of crazy. But I'm going to say it anyway, because I feel like that is one of the things that has helped me the most. I won't lie. But it is to kind of go like into this deep dive into your mind and figure out which culture calls your attention the most. So I saw this TikTok the other day about this girl who said, why don't we like build communities based on who you are, instead of all being like in this same community, like a bunch of different people in the same community? Why not build small communities of like people that are very similar to each other, right? And I believe that that is pretty crazy how she said that, because I feel like now, since we're all so different, like even like let's say in a classroom, there's like all these different kids, right? Some of them have autism, some of them have ADHD, and some of them are just normal, right? Like, not saying normal. I'm very, like, I don't know if I have autism or ADHD or what, but I have never felt myself normal. So when I say normal, I don't mean to like bash anyone or anything. I just mean like the people who don't suffer from like ADHD or autism or anxiety or bipolar disorder or whatever it is that you know, like you have, um like neurotypical people, I guess I would say. Like if we place all the people with autism in one class, if we placed all the people with ADHD in one class, and then all the neurotypicals in one class, it would be so much easier, not only for us but for like the teacher even, because it's really hard to teach a bunch of different people the same thing when not all the same people like relate to it in the same way or can learn it in the same way, right? So what I'm trying to say anyway is find the culture that you like. It doesn't matter if you're not from that culture. Um just find a culture that you feel drawn to, that calls your name, that feels like some type of way to you, right? So like for example, me, I am Mexican, but for some reason Egypt or ancient Egypt calls me the most. It, like, I don't know, something about it, it literally calls my name to the point where I have tried to, like, I'm trying actively trying to learn how to read hieroglyphs. It just calls to me so much. And once I started to like look more into ancient Egypt, um the way they used to be, and you know, like the way that they just are, I started to like use that to become like to make myself better in some way. How do I explain it? Like, so okay, so let's say that like they use a lot of incense, they well, they used to, and like, you know, like the way they do their makeup, the way they do their hair, the way they take care of their hair, maybe like how they use honey a lot, how they use cinnamon a lot, all those things I incorporated into my own self and have become a better version of myself in that way. I feel like when you get to like, hold on, like I don't know if you guys believe in reincarnation or not, or do you believe that we lived in other past lives. But I, for some reason I do, and I feel like at some point I was Egyptian, and that just Egypt calls to me so much, and it has made me the person who I am today in a way, right? And so yeah, I just like, I would like for you to study the culture that you like and kind of incorporate it into yourself and see where that leads you. It might lead you nowhere, it might lead you somewhere, who knows, but at least try, and you're like going to see how that can awaken something in you that you did not know you have. Um but yeah, that's the little trick that I'm going to give. Another trick I'm going to give is music, okay? um like, find an artist or specific songs that kind of sound like something similar of who you want to be. Like for example, me, I like to listen to a lot of songs that talk about like morenas, that talk about eyes, that talk about long hair or black hair, that talk about making money, um, that talk about even Egypt, because I have seen that a lot of songs have a lot of like Egyptian into it, like whether it's the hieroglyphs, whether it's the ancient gods. I see a lot of music that has like Egyptian symbolism in it, and it really calls to me and it makes me feel higher vibrational. Like it makes me feel some type of way, right? So I urge you to listen to music that makes you feel that makes you feel the best version of yourself. It's like in movies, you know how there's always like a little music playing in the ground when they're doing something cool. It's like a cool music. If it's sad, it's sad music. Kind of like that. Live your life like that. Like make a little playlist for yourself or make little themed musics for yourselves. Um it just makes life easier. It makes life better. It gives like this little thing to your life, you know? It adds some spark into your life, I would like to say. It can make you more confident, because like how I said, like I listen to songs about like morenas. It makes me feel more confident in myself because they're literally talking about like, oh, like you are beautiful, or like this, you're powerful, or whatever it is that they're saying in the song. Obviously it has to be something good about you, because if you're listening to degrading music or music that makes you feel bad about yourself, then you're not doing it right. It's gonna make you feel lower in vibration, if anything. Whether you like the artist or not, you can't listen to songs that don't make you feel better, right, about yourself. So yeah, listen to songs that make you feel more powerful, more confident. um like let's say let me just say a few songs that I would recommend for everyone. One of them would be like, what is it? I don't know what it's called, but it's like Beautiful by Bruno Mars. That's a song I would recommend to everyone. Another song would be Paradise by Coldplay. um I don't really listen to like I do listen to a lot of rap songs, but a lot of them are very degrading to girls, so I can't really think of songs for men to listen to. But I know that Peso Pluma has really good music. Um, like Nueva Vida, if you speak Spanish, if you're not Spanish, even listening to those songs, even if you're not like if you don't speak Spanish, it will still make you feel better, because I've heard a lot of people that say that his music is good and they don't even speak Spanish. But you know, like just find artists that give off good vibes or talk good about like the way that you look. um who else? I'm trying to think of people who have good vibrational songs. Like I feel like Drake has good for men. It just depends on the kind of man that you are, or like the kind of person that you are, because a lot of them are very, I don't know why a lot of songs are very degrading to women. But whatever it is that you want to attract in your life, just listen to that kind of music, okay? Another good song for like women that I like is like Whole Lot of Money by, I don't know if it's Bia or Pia. I don't know what it is. But that's a really good song. I feel like Kevin Gates has a lot of good music for men. Um, and yeah, you just do your research, okay? Do your research. But music is very, 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 very helpful when trying to become the person that you are. Um, and yeah, so let me just go back and give like a little summary of what I talked about, I guess. So slowing down, very, very important on your everyday activities. And then eye contact, work on your eye contact so you can be more seductive, more powerful, more enticing. um Authenticity, inspirations, and culture, looking into the cultures that call to you, studying them. And then music, right? I feel like those things already are going to help you so much to become the person you want to be. um so yeah, try to like go more deeper into those things, and let me know how that helps you, especially the culture one, because I never really hear people talk about that. Like I've heard people talk about slowing down or being more present. I've heard talk about eye contact. I've even heard like about music, you know, manifesting through music, but I've never talked about like diving into the roots of the cultures that you like and adding that into your like everyday life. Um and by culture, it could be literally anything. It could be like Hinduism, uh what is it? What's that guy's name? The one that's Buddhism. Like it could be religion, it could be culture, it could be whatever it is that you want it to be, but something that's like, you know how, you know what I'm trying to say, right? For me, it's Egypt. I love Egypt. I know that I was alive during those times. Um, like Cleopatra is my favorite person in the entire world. Hathor, I love Hathor. Okay, so Hathor is my favorite. I love Cleopatra. I also love Mary Magdalene. Um, her stories. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of her. Uh, but just anything that's like goddess related or beauty related, it really calls my name. Um, just Venus activities, right? But yeah, I guess that's it for today. Um, if you liked my video, subscribe and look through my other videos if you would like to like learn other things. I talk about how to be intentional in one of my videos for School of Love, I think. I've talked about a lot of things. I even talk about astrology and how to use your rising sign to become like a better looking person, and you know, like things like that. But yeah, go look through them if you would like to learn more like about things like this. And I'll see you guys on my next video. um so yeah, don't forget to always be authentic, and that everything you do, to do it for the best in your, for like the best for you, right? Because you're the only person who we're trying to get to love yourself first, right? First, before you like attract anything else in life, you have to love yourself to know exactly what it is that you want in life. So yeah, love yourself, and I'll see you guys next time, and I love you.